On today's episode, we've got a little treat for you. We've got two in today. We've got Professor Junior and Professor Leo. We're going to be speaking to Professor Leo today, and Junior is here to translate as Leo doesn't speak a word of English. So, welcome.
Thank you very much for having us.
Absolute pleasure.
O que você quiser falar, você fala que eu traduzo, tá? Just explain to him whatever he wants to say. I can translate. And okay.
It's all chill.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me. It's the first time I've been to. That's my first podcast. Been invited before, but as you know, really busy with work.
Yeah.
And sometimes people might think that I say no because I don't want to go, but that's not the reason. Life at the moment is very crazy. Like sometimes opening the gym 6 o'clock in the morning and closing 10 p.m. And then on the other side, we have the fitness business as well. That takes me a lot of time. And apart from that, family, house, and many other things. And but I think it's going to be a great night. I'm sure we'll be talking about Jiu-Jitsu most of the time here.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure we will.
And something that I'm very passionate also, my big brother Leo. Something that we've been doing for many years. And when this become something part of your life, talking about lifestyle, it's something that we could be here for 3, 4, 5 hours. Makes a difference when you...
Definitely.
Sou o Leu, mais conhecido como Leu Maktub, né? Vim aqui na Inglaterra passar uma temporada aqui com a bandeira do Jiu-Jitsu.
Get a little bit closer. That's right.
Yeah. Vim passar uma temporada aqui na Inglaterra, competir, lutar o europeu e trazer um pouquinho da minha técnica, aprender também, né? Tentar aprender um pouquinho do inglês, aprender um pouquinho dos costumes ingleses aqui. Receber esse convite aqui do nosso amigo Jack, né? Para participar desse podcast aqui. Não sei muito bem a ideia do podcast, mas com certeza a gente vai estar falando de Jiu-Jitsu, né? Do que o Jiu-Jitsu representa pra gente, né? E do Brasil, né? De Brasília, do Instituto Maktub, né? ACTJJ, para Inglaterra, né? E a gente tá aqui, né? Com meu brother Júnior e Jack.
Right, my name is Leo. Everyone knows me as Leu Maktub. That's the name of my school back in Brazil. I'm here again. The main reason was traveling to fight the European in Paris last week, and also to share a little bit of my Jiu-Jitsu with my friends and family. It's great to be here with you guys, and I'm sure we're going to have a very enjoyable conversation about Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to get the origin story of Leo. I want to know, where he comes from, mean streets of Brazil, his upbringing and how he came to become a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner.
Yeah. Pouquinho da sua história, né? Como começou o Jiu-Jitsu e seu objetivo.
O Jiu-Jitsu pra mim começou ali por volta dos 16 a 17 anos. Eu vendo algumas lutas, né? Algumas fita na época era tape, né? Que eu via os vale-tudos e aquilo me encantou, né? Eu fazia.
Right, so back in the days, I think I was like 16 years old. Watching the fights back in the days was luta livre. That's how we used to call back in the days, which is the MMA today. And before, we didn't even have the DVDs. I used to watch. I used to rent the tapes, and that's how the passion and everything started about the art of Jiu-Jitsu.
E na verdade eu comecei na capoeira, né? Comecei a treinar capoeira e eu brigava todos os dias.
Yeah, basically I start training capoeira. Is a sport very very famous in Brazil, and the reason I start with the martial arts because I used to fight pretty much every day.
Oh, nice.
E literalmente eu vivia brigando quando eu treinava capoeira, né? Não sei se era uma forma de me afirmar ou de me proteger, né? Porque quando mais criança eu sofri muito bullying, né? Apanhava muito sem saber por que tava apanhando. Aí quando eu aprendi a bater, né? Eu quis bater também.
Yeah, so I didn't back in the days I didn't really know like the reason why I used to fight so much every day.
Right.
But I think one of the main reasons I used to be bullied quite a lot, and when I learned how to beat, and then when everything starts becoming more enjoyable and fun.
Aí, né, eu comecei algumas brincadeiras. Eu lembro que tinha uns morros de areia de construção lá no Riacho Fundo. E o pessoal ia pra lá pra fazer pulos de capoeira, né, pra prender mortal. E a gente começava umas lutas ali agarrada, né? Derrubar, jogar no chão, segurar. E foi a primeira vez que eu tive uma experiência assim com a luta mesmo, né? E eu me saí muito bem, apesar de não saber técnica, né? Eu me saí muito bem ali entre os amigos ali, né? Até os maiores eu consegui me destacar, né? Eu achei que aquilo foi que deu um start ali, né? Na minha mente pra mim ir atrás da luta, né?
Yeah, everything started like me and my friends used to go to those places where I used to live, and we used to practice those moves from capoeira. And after that, we start sparring, right? Doing some luta livre, and then I start notice that I had some skills, even when I start sparring with the bigger ones. And I think that's the time when everything clicked and everything started.
Nice. So, what age was he when he started jiu-jitsu?
16. Não, você começou jiu-jitsu com quantos anos?
Com 18 anos. 17 para 18 anos.
Between 17 to 18 years old.
Right. Okay.
He's gonna be 47 now, right?
Yeah. So it's been 30 years.
Pode
30 anos, né? Mais ou menos.
Por volta de 30 anos, é.
Yeah, around
And
30
yeah,
years.
coming
30
up
years
on-
playing jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Coming up on 30 years. I love it how you say playing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So what made him fall in love with it? Like, obviously he did the capoeira to begin with. What part of jiu-jitsu was like, this is what I want to do rather than the
Quando
capoeira?
que você decidiu realmente entrar com tudo com jiu-jitsu? Quando que você se apaixonou pela arte?
Eu tinha algumas experiências, poucas assim, né? Mas nada que me encantasse. Só que um dia na academia teve um professor que estava dando aula e eu estava fazendo musculação. Aí ele chamou a gente pra fazer um treino, né? E tava eu e um amigo meu, a gente tava bem forte, né? A gente malhava, treinava capoeira e ia pro show, brigar e namorar. Era mais ou menos isso, né? A gente viveu muito tempo aí nessa pegada, né? E o que aconteceu? Ele me chamou esse dia pra fazer um treino. Era o professor Leão. E ele pegou eu e esse meu amigo lá e tirou pra nada. Era um amigo meu grande, alto, forte, né? E só que ele fez daquilo de uma forma respeitosa e de uma forma na técnica. A gente percebia que era técnica, né? E aquilo me encantou.
Yeah, so it's very common in Brazil, like people go to the gym. Fitness is a big thing in Brazil, always been. And he remember one day he was training in the gym with his friend, just doing some weights, and one of those coaches called them out, and I think they invite them like for a class, and that's the time he saw the art, and the guy showed that jiu-jitsu, like he could see the big difference in weight and size, and I think that what made him fall in love, seeing smaller guys playing with bigger guys without using any strength.
So when he first started, then where was he training? Like, how often was he training?
Quando você começou a treinar jiu-jitsu, quanto tempo você treinava por semana?
Aí foi isso, né? Eu comecei a treinar em outra cidade, que era Candangolândia, uma cidade próxima do Riacho Fundo, onde eu morava. Aí eu trabalhava de lotação, né? Eu era motorista de lotação. E eu rodava o dia todo, no final do dia eu parava e ia pra Candangolândia treinar, né? E comecei a treinar lá.
Todo dia?
Lá no,
Semana?
com o professor Leão. E eu treinava por volta de... Quando dava, a vontade era de treinar todos os dias, mas muitas vezes não dava pela questão do trabalho, né? Então eu treinava em torno de 3 a 4 vezes por semana, às vezes menos, né? Pela questão do tempo e o trabalho.
Sometimes 3 to 4 times per week. He wanted to train every day, but because of work, sometimes he couldn't finish earlier and he couldn't go. But he always wanted to train every day. It's just because of the time, between 3 to 4.
And what kept him going? Because obviously a lot of, like, I see a lot of things on the internet and stuff like that where like there are a lot of people, and you said obviously when I first started, 6 months ago or so, about white belt being the hardest belt to get, and how few people stick it out to obviously black belt and then is fourth stripe, so fourth degree, like to stay for the length of time he has and to work out and do all the rest of it and keep yourself in shape, and that what made him want to do it for this long? Like, why did he stick it out?
O que te fez realmente ficar treinando por esse tempo todo?
É uma pergunta difícil, né, de responder.
This is a tough question
Porque
to answer.
acho que o jiu-jitsu acaba sendo até mais forte do que a nossa vontade, sei lá, algo que contamina a gente, porque eu já saí várias vezes de treino e falando assim, nunca mais eu vou treinar. Às vezes pelo resultado do treino, pelo dia, às vezes o cansaço, apanhei demais, coisas assim. Só que logo no outro dia, passava-se a noite e o dia, eu já tava com vontade de treinar novamente.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is a kind of thing that kind of contaminates you, right? It's like how many times we finish training the night, especially Thursday nights here, after open mat, and you get upstairs and you're like, man, I won't be back here. That's just killing me. We feel sore, and especially those days that we get completely destroyed, right? Sometimes competitions when we lose can be a very painful things in for those ones who especially sometimes you prepare yourself for like a couple of months to go to a competition, but as I said, it's a kind of addiction. When this become your lifestyle, something part of your life, next day everything changes. You're back there again, and I think that what drives you, like every day, month to month, year by year.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like obviously from my standpoint, obviously I started because of Caitlin, and obviously getting her into the whole thing, because I was freaking out a bit that she's going to go to university at some point, and she's not going to be around Dad. So, but now, like seeing her and her confidence build within it, like she doesn't stop going on about it. Like she sends me Instagram things all the time, and she's doing her first competition next month, and she's just oozing. And I've never seen her take to a sport like this. Like she's competed high at swimming, she's competed high at netball, but she's never been that interested. She's just been good at it. So and it's and I think, touch wood, she's going to continue to do it, and she's going to do it, hopefully until she gets 4 stripes on her black belt.
Yeah.
But it's such a good community, and I just want to sort of dispel some of the myths around, because it's a combat sport.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's thugs and all the rest of it like that. I just want Leo to just give us an explanation on how he sees jiu-jitsu, and obviously he is he's very much a philosopher when we're in the gym. He's talking about how we can use jiu-jitsu in life, and the rest of it. I just want to pick his brain on that.
Como a gente já sabe, né? Você gosta de filosofar muito sobre jiu-jitsu, né? E que isso é uma coisa muito boa, né? Porque a verdade que você fala às vezes, né, ensinando levar jiu-jitsu para a vida também, para fora, né? Usar essas ferramentas como uma base de apoio, né, lá fora. Então isso é muito né? Isso causa um impacto grande, né, na vida do ser humano. O que é que você tem a falar sobre?
Na verdade, voltando um pouquinho lá atrás, na minha infância, eu fui uma criança muito sensível. Acho que eu sou muito sensível até hoje, né? E medroso, era muito medroso, muito medroso. E quando eu mudei de bairro, que eu morava num era num local nobre, mas em casas bem... Era barracos na época, né? A gente morava num lote de mansão de um tio meu, que era cheio de barracos, né? E a gente morava num barraco daquele. E aquilo ali, aquela mansão era um paraíso para mim, né? A gente se sentia seguro ali dentro, por mais que tinha...
Yeah, so going back a little bit more, like the way I've been brought up. We used to live in a nice area, but in a very small house, right? So the house, I used to be a very sensitive child. Also I wasn't very confident as well. But when we used to feel safe, we used to live in a very nice area, but very tiny house. And I think like looking around our life and our neighborhood, I think that started changing my life, the way I used to see life.
E eu sempre fui de família muito humilde, né? E eu falo que era mansão favela, né? E a gente foi pro Riacho Fundo. E na época era um assentamento, tava começando. E teve muito conflitos de bairro, igual eu falei, assim, eu apanhava muito, eu e meus irmãos, né? Sem saber por que tava apanhando, né? E eu acho que tudo isso foi criando um tipo de conexão com a luta pra mim, né? Quando eu comecei... Aí depois que eu tive a experiência com o jiu-jitsu, né? Me tirou, acho que esse medo de ter que agredir, de ter que brigar, de ter que me impor.
Yeah, so the area where we used to live, we used to fight a lot. It used to be like kind of neighborhoods fighting against each other. And him and his brothers, like they always used to be living that tensing moments, like fighting. And I think when he started getting the experience with martial arts, especially jiu-jitsu, he learned that he didn't have to use the fight side, the aggressive side, to sort out problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And if, as well with that, as I've well learned, being, a spazzy white belt, when I'm rolling with, like Nath, for example, like he can ragdoll me quite comfortably. Well, I've got about 20 kilograms on him.
Yeah.
And it was quite surprising. Well, not surprising. Obviously, I've done the martial arts in my time. I understand jiu-jitsu is the great equalizer. But yeah, I think for most people, like all the untrained people, they're like, in the street, I'll just see red, that it's all the rest of it. It's like, well, no, because if someone knows how to fight, that's a completely different animal. So, what does he? How can I put this? What does he want from jiu-jitsu going forward? Like, what does he see himself, achieving going forward now?
Quais são seus planos daqui para frente com o jiu-jitsu?
Eu não posso deixar de ressaltar que depois que eu comecei a treinar jiu-jitsu, eu nunca mais briguei, né? Nunca mais me envolvi em conflitos, em confusão. Acho que me trouxe uma segurança e uma paz. Meu objetivo no jiu-jitsu hoje eu ainda quero competir muito, né? Quero levar o nome do instituto, da ACTJJ, do meu brother aqui, Luciano Araújo, pro mundo, né? Através do jiu-jitsu, contando essa história de um menino que através dessa ferramenta, o jiu-jitsu, né? Ele conseguiu superar diversos problemas, diversos traumas e ajudar diversas pessoas.
Right. So just going back to finish the conversation you were having before. After I start training jiu-jitsu, I never had to fight again. Right. So my last fight was just before jiu-jitsu, and my main goal, obviously, there are so many different things, but one of them, I want to carry on competing right? Something that I love. And showing to the world my life, what happened to me, what jiu-jitsu done towards me, right? Helping me to become a better person, helping me to be able to help people around me. So this is my main goal when we talk about jiu-jitsu and what I'm trying to achieve.
So obviously he said then about he didn't get in any fights after that. Was that because of why was that? Was that just because of jiu-jitsu he steered away from it, or because he was at jiu-jitsu he just wasn't in that environment?
Por que não teve mais briga depois do jiu-jitsu?
Acho que por esse motivo, o jiu-jitsu me trouxe uma paz e uma confiança e um respeito.
I think jiu-jitsu brings us the peaceful side. Obviously, one of the main things, the respect and the confidence, right? I think it's gonna be very rare to see a black belt fighting on the street. Very rare. This is something, that's what I think, right? It's funny enough, driving here today, I live in Price Hall, and normally in Price Hall we don't really see like troublemakers on the street and kind of things. And I was driving, I wasn't even going fast, and I saw this group of teenagers. And one of them, while I was driving past, they threatened us, like throwing the bike towards the car. And it's the kind of thing today, you look and you kind of laugh. I believe back in the days, I would have stopped my car and going back, and not to hit them, but to put them in their own place.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But I think when you hold a black belt these days, is a massive responsibility, not just for yourself, but for example here, I'm always watching what I do, and in terms of promoting people is a big responsibility. That's the way I see. Obviously, people think differently, and I respect the way they think. But promoting people these days is like giving power to them. So there is a big. I think we spoke about that before. Jiu-Jitsu is a very powerful thing, right? I don't believe Jiu-Jitsu can change lives, but I do believe Jiu-Jitsu can give you power. If you're a nice person, Jiu-Jitsu is gonna make you even nicer.
Yeah.
But if you're a nasty person, Jiu-Jitsu can make you like 10 times worse.
Yeah.
And this is the time when you talk about promotions and grading in our gym, I always take longer than the other ones, much longer.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to give a black belt for someone who's been tough around competitions, tough in the gym, the most technical that beats everyone up. I want him to be a black belt inside of the gym, but outside as well.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned there about obviously showing the world, and his clip that went viral of him.
Yeah.
And the boy dropping. What was that like? Obviously going viral, like obviously having, all the thousands and thousands of likes.
Aquele videozinho que viralizou, né, do cara caindo, você fintando lá e o que é que você achou daquilo ali?
Aquilo foi uma luta lá em Goiânia, 3 horas de Brasília. E eu fui lutar em Goiânia e era um dia normal, assim, de competição pra mim. E eu sempre faço isso na academia, né? Eu gosto muito de lutar dançando, fintar, né? Envolver ali o oponente para eu chegar nos meus objetivos, né? Que é na minha base, nas minhas posições ali, né? Que é chegar até a guilhotina, né? Que é um golpe que eu faço muito, né? O pessoal fala até que eu sou o rei da guilhotina, né? Eu realmente executo muito bem essa técnica, a guilhotina. Faço muito bem. E tem uma parte do vídeo, né, que não tá ali que viralizou, né, porque eu tenho um vídeo todo lá, que ele tava correndo atrás de mim, né, e eu gosto, na luta, eu gosto quando o oponente tá vindo atrás de mim, né? E eu meio que fingi que não queria lutar. E quando voltou, né, a gente tocou na mão e eu fintei, né? E daquela forma que aconteceu no vídeo, aconteceu centenas de vezes na academia, no treino, né, daquela forma. E ele, meio que o pessoal falou, caiu o disjuntor, né? Que caiu o Wi-Fi, caiu, né? E dali a luta seguiu, eu acabei finalizando ele, mas assim, nenhum desmérito pra ele, né? Coisas de luta mesmo que acontece, né? E esse vídeo viralizou, assim, né? Eu acho que é um vídeo que tem mais de 2 milhões de visualizações, né? E assim, correu o mundo, acho que o mundo do jiu-jitsu viu esse vídeo, né? Que é o vídeo do caiu no meu papinho, já era, né? Porque juntou com esse hit, né? Com essa música, né? E foi esse sucesso, né? Esse vídeo, né? Eu sou totalmente, acho que desconhecido, acho que lá em Brasília todo mundo me conhece, mas assim, e aqui em Corbe agora, né? Mas eu sou um cara bem anônimo, né? E foi isso que aconteceu, o vídeo, né?
So there was a competition not far from where we live. I think it's just 3 hours driving. 3 hours for you guys is a lot, isn't it? But for us, 3 hours.
Myself, but yeah.
We coming from Brazil, so sometimes when we used to go on holiday, we used to drive for 3 days, right?
Yeah.
So 3 hours is nothing. So I went to fight in a different state, and that's the way I like to fight. I like to dance around. It's not because I'm showing off. It's because I'm trying to break my opponent's mind. Okay. Yeah. And I think he start getting a little bit frustrated and he start coming towards me, and that's what I'm looking for. I like when he start coming towards me, and that's the time when I start breaking my base, going a little bit lower, and then he that's what happened, like what everyone saw it, right? So the video is quite, I think, like it's quite famous in Brazil at the moment, and it's funny enough, he never mentioned, but we went to the Europeans in Paris last week, and a few guys recognized him, like from the guy
video.
there, you know what I mean? So I think this video has like over 2 million views and kind of things.
Nice.
And there is a very famous hit, right, music that came out last year in Brazil, and they kind of combine this hit with the video and become even more stronger. So yeah, it was something quite cool. But I have never had the intention to disrespect my opponent. That was just the way I like to fight, I like to play.
Talking about obviously competing, what is his sort of warm up to it? Like, how does he get in that mindset? What does he do when he's stepping on the mat? How does he get himself in that frame of mind from, you know, the day-to-day Professor Leu to it's go time, it's fight time, let's go?
Qual que é a sensação quando você tá entrando ali no tatame para lutar?
Ele fez uma pergunta sobre o jiu-jitsu, né? O que era o jiu-jitsu pra gente, assim? Hoje eu pediria pra ele assim, tenta parar de respirar. É um respirar o jiu-jitsu hoje, pra mim e pras pessoas que se submeteram a aprender essa arte. É um respirar. E assim, quando eu tô ali pra entrar, assim, passa diversas coisas na minha cabeça. Antigamente eu ficava bem mais assim, em pânico, assustado, com medo. Hoje já não deixa de dar aquele frio na barriga, mas eu já vou com um objetivo, né? E eu percebo que sempre que eu tô lutando feliz, eu consigo bom desempenho, né? Quando eu tô lutando feliz, quando eu tô me apresentando, quando eu tô dançando, lutando, né? Quando eu tô ali... E ali eu literalmente, eu venço diversos traumas e problemas que estou passando em diversos momentos da vida. Vários problemas, às vezes um problema financeiro, às vezes um problema psicológico, às vezes um problema familiar, às vezes um problema do instituto, né, que eu levo uma bandeira do Instituto Social, que é o Instituto Maktub, lá em Brasília, né? Eu queria também, não posso deixar de ressaltar isso, queria que o professor Luciano Araújo falasse sobre isso, né? Eu tenho um trabalho social. Boa.
Yeah, so it's something that I love to do. Like fighting is it's something that he was gonna ask you a question like about the feeling about jiu-jitsu, can you stop? Can you keep yourself alive without breathing?
No.
No. So that's how I feel about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's like if I need that all the time. And obviously back in the days, I used to get very nervous. And obviously we never lose this, what do you call here? Like butterfly. Yeah. So obviously we still having this kind of adrenaline going and kind of things. I think without this, we wouldn't be so excited, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
so what is it referred? What would you say in Brazil, like for butterflies? What would you say that is?
we could say adrenaline. The adrenalina is very similar word to English, but is the good sensation.
Yeah,
would say that. And but obviously he has notes in the last few years. Every time when he goes for a competition, if he's happy, if he's happy, his performance is much better. But obviously sometimes he takes those competitions to kill some of those traumas, right? Sometimes when he goes through a few problems like financial problems, family, psychology, and problems with the school and the personal life, it's a good way to trying to sort those out, right? But it's something that he really enjoyed, like something that. And fighting with pressure, the performance always goes down. And I talk about that a lot, right? When you go to competitions, try to enjoy yourself. Obviously, the main goal is only one, but try to enjoy yourself without putting too much pressure.
E assim, eu não podia deixar de ressaltar esse trabalho social que eu tenho em Brasília, né? A gente pega crianças em casas de acolhimento, que é casas que acolhem crianças que estão passando por situação de risco, crianças que passaram por diversos traumas, né? Ou foi abandonada, ou foi estrupada, ou foi violentada. A gente pega essas crianças lá, leva para o Instituto Social Maktub, a gente dá um kimono, a aula em si, o jiu-jitsu, que é o jiu-jitsu live, né? Que é vida, né? Jiu-jitsu, que tudo que se engloba o jiu-jitsu, que não dá para explicar. Jiu-jitsu é muito... É de uma imensidão que não dá para se explicar em palavras. Você tem que viver. E depois eles voltam, recebem um lanchinho e voltam para a instituição. Então esse também é um grande objetivo e sonho na minha vida, né? Que esse instituto consiga acolher mais crianças e que ele cresça, né? Em outros países no mundo, né? É um sonho alto.
I can't forget to talk about the project that I run in Brazil in my gym. We work with kids, those kids who been abused, those kids who's been through really tough problems. I'm talking about like kids that's been raped, kids that been abused by the parents and family and etc. We bring those kids to the gym. We give them the gi. And our job is trying to make a little change in their lives. So, and this is one of my main goals today, trying to grow this project as much as we can. And if it's possible one day to go outside of Brazil and help as much as we can.
Yeah, well, I haven't spoke to her about it, but I was just thinking while you were saying about it then, that if once Caitlin's up and running, we can get her out there and she can help out. On a gap year or something like that.
Dia eles podem ir lá visitar no Brasil, né? Ele, a filha dele, ir lá no instituto e tal.
Com certeza o Instituto Maktub, né? Depois você fala pra ele, estava escrito, tinha que acontecer.
Of course. And Maktub means to happen. Right, yeah, what that means.
Está de portas abertas para todos que quiserem praticar o jiu-jitsu e que quiserem conhecer a história do Instituto, né?
Everyone's welcome to come to the house and
com certeza será um prazer.
It's gonna be a pleasure.
O jiu-jitsu me trouxe aqui.
Yeah.
My brother.
What brought me here was jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu. Lifestyle. Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Vida.
Yeah. And I think it is that. It is that, you know, buying into the lifestyle of jiu-jitsu and being, you know, that respectful person and always like because especially obviously you two, you can control the situation. You know you can. So it just gives you that confidence to be like, look, let's you know, we can keep everything calm. Because you know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a a wicked project that he's doing.
Yeah.
Fully support it. I'll come out when I can, if I get the chance. But yeah, hats off to him for it, definitely.
Yeah, um dia que ele tiver a oportunidade, a chance, com certeza ele vai dar uma viajada lá.
Eu tenho uma certeza que você vai se apaixonar pelo Brasil. Não só você, mas quem for lá viver esse momento com você. Não só pelo jiu-jitsu. A desculpa vai ser o jiu-jitsu, mas você vai se apaixonar pelo Brasil. Pelo clima, pela comida, pelo sol.
Yeah, so I can guarantee that also you're gonna fall in love with the country. Not just about jiu-jitsu, but is a different. As mulheres.
Yes.
Yeah, many things there, Brazil. Yeah.
Eu não preciso nem falar, né?
Are you still married, Jack?
No, I'm single.
Are you single?
Single.
Yeah. All right.
100% single.
It's quite surprising. I heard that from you, and I was like, what?
Fala pra ele que eu não tô podendo nem falar nisso, que eu tô há um mês aqui. Fala pra ele, eu tô há um mês aqui na
You
Inglaterra.
can't even talk about that because he's 1 month here. Yeah, so it's tough. And then I tell him, can you imagine sometimes takes like 3 months to go back and see my girlfriend and this kind of thing. So
yeah, I know all that obviously from being in the military. That's we used to do 6 months away, which is.
But like, again, jiu-jitsu helps you even with things like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. That built up testosterone.
Yeah. Is you learn to survive. Tô falando que o jiu-jitsu até nisso ele te ajuda, né? A ser mais calmo, porque isso é pro homem, né? Isso é um... Como é que eu falo?
Um remédio.
Não, ficar muito tempo, né? Por exemplo, às vezes o cara é casado, longe da mulher e tal, essas coisas.
Com certeza.
Né? Então o jiu-jitsu ajuda até nesse lado, né?
Acho que nós, seres humanos, independente do país, nós temos um instinto, a gente tem um instinto animal, todos nós temos. E o jiu-jitsu, na minha opinião, teria que ser lei, obrigatório em todos os países, em todos os locais. Porque o jiu-jitsu ele vai ensinar, vai ajudar, né, as pessoas a se interagirem, a uma respeitar a outra, o pedreiro se dá bem com o advogado, com o juiz, com o lixeiro, com o professor, porque ali dentro do tatame todo mundo é igual. Ali não tem ninguém que seja melhor do que ninguém, né? Ali no jiu-jitsu a gente tem a hierarquia, tem as regras, né? Mas todo mundo pode conquistar o seu espaço, independente da sua cor, da sua religião, da sua crença, do seu estado financeiro. Isso não importa. No jiu-jitsu todo mundo é igual.
I think every country should, by law, have jiu-jitsu, like what Dubai does at the moment, right?
Yeah.
I think all the schools they have jiu-jitsu as subject, right? Yeah. So I think this should be learned by should be law by every country to run this at school. And because the good thing about jiu-jitsu is like people learn how to, like for example, like inside of the gym we have all different type of people. We have rich, poor, we have white, black, and as you have seen, like when you get together on the mats, everyone's the same.
Yeah.
Right? There is no difference. Obviously, we know the rules, we know the respect, we know where we need to be, but there is no difference between us. And I think that's the greatest thing, right? Doesn't happen much here in UK, but in Brazil is a little bit tricky. Like when you have a little bit more comparing to the other, right? If you someone with a financial, you know what I mean, situation, if it's a good one, and sometimes you completely, most of them they delete the lower class, and the good thing about jiu-jitsu is I think, in my opinion, is that no matter who you are, when you step on the mats, everyone become pretty much everyone's the same.
Yeah.
Right. So
Great equalizer.
yeah. So people has to learn. I think you have notes sometimes when we have new students, especially when we have those big guys, young guys come to train. Yeah, and they get to the gym and they get completely destroyed by a 15 years old.
Yeah.
Right? So jiu-jitsu is a kind of sport. If you have a high ego, you won't last long, right? So one of the most important things we learn in jiu-jitsu is the resilience, right? You come to the point that you need to accept that there's always going to be someone better than you. It's going to be good days, bad days. Some days you're going to lose, some days you're going to win. And probably you're going to lose much more than win. The same thing in life. And teaching kids these days, this is what I'm trying to provide to them. Again, taking those tools from jiu-jitsu and use in life outside. So now you have Kathleen there. She's very young. Can you imagine by the age 18, 19, she's dealing with life the same way we deal with jiu-jitsu. We deal while we're sparring, to be patient, to act, to trying to resolve the problem in the right time. Don't rush. I think getting that experience now, you're going to be able to deal so much better with relationship, with jobs, with, many problems in life. And I think that's a great thing, apart from the martial arts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Eu queria
Bring
fazer,
it right in. You don't have to be.
queria fazer uma pergunta para
Tell him
ele.
you don't have to be light with it. Like you can rack it about. It's not going to break.
Se quiser puxar mais,
Good
pode
stuff.
puxar. Não
Like
quebra, não.
you're fine. Yeah, pull it in, pull it about. It's fine.
Queria fazer uma pergunta para ele.
He wants to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Por que você começou a treinar jiu-jitsu aqui na Inglaterra, em Corby?
Ele já tinha falado antes, mas eu vou perguntar para ele. I said to him that you said that before, but I can explain to him again. The reason why you start jiu-jitsu in Kobe.
Well, so I did MMA sort of 10, 12 years ago. And then, yeah, just talking to Caitlin, that obviously she's really bright. Like she's just, A's across the board. She hates me talking about her on the podcast. But, model student, everything's pointing at university. So I thought, well, if she gets Edinburgh, I'm not just round the corner. Like I've always thought, if she gets in trouble, Dad's around, and I'm not going to be. So I sort of like, and it was more that I thought her brother would do it, to be honest, because he loves to wrestle. Like, I've taught him rear naked choke and armbar, stuff like that. He can get on me, obviously being so much bigger than him. And I sort of posed it to him over dinner one night, and I thought he'd be the one jumping at it, and she'd be like, "Nah, it's not really for me," because she's not that type of girl. She's quite a clever girl. Like she's quite a nerd. So, but I sort of explained to her how jiu-jitsu for me, and Joe Rogan says it all the time, is that it's like nerd assassins, because it's a thinking man's game, and it is. There's no strength involved in it. Like when you get to a certain point, the technique just outweighs it, and because her mind works at such a pace, like I know that she'll pick up stuff. It's like when we roll together, she'll do stuff that we've learned, like 3-4 weeks ago. I can see her like tech that, and then she's like, "Oh, can we do this single leg? Can we and she's just like building and building and building. And for her, it is more of a confidence thing. I think she needs to believe she can do it.
Yeah.
And put that, just get that. I always say to her, like, we need to get that dog in her.
Yeah.
Because she just, but that's the reason. Yeah, it's with her. And I've always loved jiu-jitsu. I've watched UFC for years and years and years. I've got a hard drive full of UFC. And yeah, I've always wanted to get back into it, but I've never had a sort of way in.
Yeah.
Now it's like, well, we're father daughter, and yeah.
Ele treinou MMA anos atrás, Mas a principal foi por causa da filha dele, né? Queria que a filha tá indo para a universidade em breve, né? Uma forma de proteção, uma forma de, né, de ser mais confidente, né? E esse foi o sempre amou, né, a luta, sempre é um fã do UFC e essa foi a principal.
Todas as histórias acabam se encaixando em relação à experiência com jiu-jitsu. Eu fiz essa pergunta para você por um motivo, né? Por exemplo, imagine você com a sua filha tendo que viver uma história aqui no mundo, ela vai viver uma história no mundo. Você ficaria mais seguro ela vivendo essa história dentro de um tatame ou só fora de um tatame? Porque o que a gente vive dentro de um tatame, a gente vive uma vida dentro do tatame. A gente passa por todo tipo de experiência que a gente possa imaginar dentro de um tatame. Eu falo experiências de convívio com o ser humano. Todo tipo de experiência. A gente convive com grandão, com mais grosso, com mais delicado, com mais flexível, com mais... Às vezes a gente lidar com mau cheiro, a gente lidar, né, com todo tipo de formas de jeito de ser humano, a gente lidar ali dentro do tatame. A diferença é que ali vai ter um professor e vai ter uma arte, uma disciplina que vai estar regendo tudo aquilo que está acontecendo. Olha o que você me falou. Você falou que sua filha está indo para a universidade e você sentiu uma forma de segurança para você estar mais próximo dela e para ela ir para a universidade mais segura. Por isso que...
Yeah, so the reason why he asked you this question was because, for example, let's put Kathleen as an example, right? How would you feel to see your daughter growing up? Yeah. Obviously, she's making her story, right? She's growing. She's still very young, but would you be happier for her to grow up living this jiu-jitsu life or without jiu-jitsu?
With jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
100%.
So, and I think that's must be like someone who's so passionate for martial arts. I think that's that what jiu-jitsu brings you, like this kind of confidence, right? And bringing her to it's not because it was my school, but bringing her to jiu-jitsu, like I think that's gonna be one of the best gifts that you could give to your daughter.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's something that I agree with Leo when he said about that, about it should be in schools and it should be taught. And I think as well, I would even go as far to say as law enforcement should have some compulsory twice a week jiu-jitsu classes, you know, staggered, because obviously they're shifts, whatever, but there should be an ongoing training. Because you see videos online all the time, Instagram and that, of you know, coppers just not even being able to hold down a woman. And I'm like, come on, fella, this is your job. So when what's he, how often does he come to England?
This is the second time.
How does he find England, other than the weather?
Yeah, o que é que você achou daqui, tirando o tempo?
Tirando o tempo? Queria só complementar a respeito da filha dele. O jiu-jitsu, uma equipe, é muito mais do que uma equipe, é uma família. Porque ali sua filha, meu filho, estando num local, exemplo, Academia Luciano Araújo, a CTJJ, ela não vai estar sendo só cuidada por ele. Vai estar sendo cuidada por todos que estão ali, que esse é o objetivo, ter aquele cuidado de respeito com o treino, deixando ela viver, passar pelas adversidades, ela passar por um amasso, ela passar por um treino ruim, como a gente passa por um dia ruim, mas a diferença é que ela vai estar sendo assistida por pessoas que têm um amor, um carinho, um respeito. Então, o jiu-jitsu é muito mais do que uma equipe, se torna uma família.
Yeah, so just going back, we were talking about Kathleen. Yeah, the good thing about having your daughter, your kids, inside of like a jiu-jitsu gym, because I know how much you care about her, but it's not being part of a team, it's being part of a family. And I'm sure when she's there, you're not the only one that looks after her. Everyone's looking after her.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, when like Thursday, so we had to rush off on yesterday because I'd work early this morning, and I knew this was going to be a long day for me today. But yeah, like when we're doing them 10 rounds, I'd rarely take a round off unless I've just rolled with you, to be honest. And at no point am I, when I'm rolling, I'm not looking around to see. I know that she's rolling with someone. It's like, and I know, she likes the people. She goes with Nath a lot because he throws her about and whatnot. Yeah. But I think now she's got over that hump of the confidence side of it, like knowing people and all the rest of it. She goes up to most people in the gym now. She'll be like, "I'll roll you. Can I roll you?" All the rest of it. Yeah. And I don't think she's too shy. If she wants to work on something, then I always say to her, like, grab a blue belt, or now purple belt, obviously with Colin and stuff and Ben and that. I said, grab them and say, like, I want to work on this. I said, it's no point coming to me to say, let's get a technique down or whatever. I said, I'm white belt like you. So use the knowledge that's around you. Yeah. And, everyone will help everyone. Because then they get to smash a white belt as well.
I think that's the greatest thing about a gym. I've been to many different gyms, and I think the most important thing is we should never forget where we come from, right? I always say that in the gym. So what I'm doing towards you guys now is what someone done towards me when I was a white belt, and I think that's what we need to carry on. And this is it's so great when someone walking in for the first time and how welcome they are. Everyone's just like embracing, and and I remember when she first started, she didn't want to spar. I think she had maximum two heads there that she would feel comfortable, right? And I'm very careful with things like that, right? Because I know how it's a big shock, especially for a girl, you know what I mean? And when she first started, I think she was the only one. We didn't have many girls back there. Maybe we had a couple, but they wasn't training very often. And I'm glad that we have quite a few now that she's, we got Nicole, like similar age and kind of things. And it's nice to see her open up a little bit more. Obviously, that takes time. Yeah. That takes time for us. Can you imagine for a girl like, her age? Yeah. So it's going to be a big bar. It's going to be something that it's going to take a long time. But I can already see like a great progress. You know what I mean? Obviously not just about jiu-jitsu, but she's much more mature as a person as well. You know what I mean? More confident. So, I think that's great. That's great. There's so many good things that jiu-jitsu can bring towards you, isn't it? Tá, tirando o frio aqui.
Tirando o frio, ele quer saber até da vinda pra cá, como é que é essa
experiência? Não, só da Inglaterra. O que é que você...
A Inglaterra é linda, né? Parece que é tudo arrumadinho. A visão que eu tenho, né? Vou te falar sobre essa questão da Inglaterra. Eu só vi em filme, né? Falando dos ingleses. Eu gosto de falar muito daquele filme Coração Valente, né? William Wallace e tal, né? Que fala da Escócia, que fala da Inglaterra.
Have you heard you haven't been to his classes?
Essa era a ideia que eu tinha da Inglaterra.
Every class he talks about William Wallace.
Yeah. We're nowhere near it. Yeah. We're nowhere near Scotland.
Yeah. É da Escócia, né?
Não, claro, mas a história fala da Inglaterra, da Escócia e fala dos ingleses, dos escoceses e acho que um outro país que eu não me recordo, né? Mas assim, e quando eu cheguei aqui eu fiquei encantado com tudo, né? Os carros são diferentes, tem umas marcas de carro, mas tem modelos muito diferentes, as casas são muito... Parece que evoluiu, mas algumas coisas parou no tempo, parece que é de brinquedo, tudo... padrão, arrumadinho. Aqui é muito bonito. Eu acho muito bonito mesmo.
I think apart from the cold, it's a beautiful place. We see things that we don't really see in Brazil. Like, it's very organized. All the houses pretty much look the same.
Right.
but it's a very it's a kind of thing. Sometimes looks like a very modern place, but at the same time looks like a place that has stopped in terms, haven't developed, right? In not in different ways. For example, like you say, like it's very different to Brazil because, as you can see, for example, here, not just here, but in London as well, it's very organized. You see, like about 100 houses, like all the same color, the same size, the same, and like cars as well, different cars, different brands, and talking about this. William Wallace is one of his favorite movies, and he always mentioned that around the classes and stuff. Is not just about just Scotland, but I think he says the movie like talks about England as well, like the fight and kind of things.
Se você observar, tem algumas casas, algumas coisas que parece que parou naquele tempo do filme, realmente.
Yeah, if you pay attention, some of the house looks like back in the movies, isn't it? Like quite old and kind of.
E
steeped in history.
Yeah. Os ingleses vocês são muito educados.
Yeah, they are very polite people, like English people.
Yeah?
Yes, muito educados, assim. No Brasil, as casas parecem o carnaval, tudo diferente.
Some houses in Brazil looks like carnival. Like, you know, like we got like about 20 different colors and kind of flags outside hanging. And
não quer dizer que não seja bonito.
I'm not saying it's not beautiful, but it's just different.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Diferente.
Sure it is.
It's different.
Yeah.
Mas aqui é lindo.
But I think it's beautiful here.
Fora o freezing.
Yeah. apart from the cold.
How much sort of traditional English foods have you tried?
Qual as comidas inglesas que você já provou aqui?
Aquela
de domingo, né? O de domingo lá.
Da outra vez que eu vim, em 2023, a gente foi tomar um café, cara. Eu fiquei meio... Aí no café tinha feijão, salsicha, tinha parecia almoço.
It's a big shock when you try the English breakfast for us.
Oh, okay.
Like sweet beans, sausage, and kind of things. Because back in Brazil, like we have fresh fruits, fresh bread, and it's a big shock.
Eu acho que nesse aspecto da culinária, se a gente brasileiro pegar vocês, nós mata vocês a pau, porque a culinária brasileira...
Yeah, when you talk about comparing the food from Brazil and here, it's like comparing like a coral belt and white belt. Well, he didn't say that. Just trying to.
Yeah, I understand what he's saying because when you think of like, or for myself, if I think of Brazilian cuisine compared to you know, English cuisine, but it's funny because it's the same as what Ben said when he was on the podcast. So, what looking at Leo going forward, how often does he compete currently?
Every month.
Every month?
Every month.
So how far does he have to travel for that?
Well, in Brazil it's different. Like we have quite a lot of competitions, like every week. Not a lot. Like I would say once a week. Here we have more than that, right? For example, where we come from, Brasilia, the capital, we have one every couple of weeks. For example, one every 3 weeks. But as you know, Brazil is a massive is a massive country. So
comfortable. Chill. Just chill. It's all good. All mates. That's all it is. It's just a chat amongst friends.
And he travels a lot. He goes like to different states to fight.
Yeah.
So obviously they run competition different times. So, but at least once a month, that's what he does there.
O que ele perguntou?
Em quanto tempo você compete? Uma vez por mês, por aí, às vezes duas.
2 vezes por mês.
So what stories has he got? What jiu-jitsu stories has he got? I want to know. He's 30 years into the business now. Mm-hmm. What are some like highlight reels from his time at jiu-jitsu? Like
what funny stories you mean? Or
it can be funny. It can be, you know, when he got a certain belt. What, you know, his achievements throughout that. What?
Alguma história engraçada durante esses 30 anos ou algum momento que marcou muito, por exemplo, na sua faixa preta, quando você recebeu? Ou...
Primeiro eu vou falar sobre... A gente fez um intercâmbio e foi 4 ingleses lá pro Brasil, passaram um mês. Foi o Dan, o Darren, o Radek e o Finn. E falando dessa história da culinária, eles comiam de manhã, tarde, noite, de madrugada, eles comiam o tempo todo. Todos eles engordaram lá no Brasil, né? Com a comida, eles comiam muito, parecia que estavam passando fome aqui na Inglaterra. Mas não era, por causa da comida.
We had 4 of our students going to Brazil, right, a couple of months ago,
Yeah.
3 months
Yeah,
ago, and they stayed in Leu's house. And obviously, Leu's mom, she cooks. She's a great cooker, right? And the boys, they didn't stop eating. Like they used to eat like pretty much every 3 hours: breakfast, lunch again, dinner. Waking up like during the night and eat. They put so much weight on, but it's not because he felt like the kids been starving in England, and when they got to Brazil, that was something that, you know,
That they had to feed.
yeah. So that
Yeah.
was something funny to say about. Mais alguma coisa?
Ah, ele quer saber sobre histórias do jiu-jitsu engraçadas?
Não, algo que marcou muito, né?
Sobre aqui?
Não, sobre sua vida do jiu-jitsu. Algum momento que marcou muito.
Ah, teve uma vez que que me apagaram no campeonato.
Yeah, one of the competitions that someone put him to sleep. Obviously, he'll never forget this.
Right.
But I was talking to him about that the other day, and when this happened, people didn't really have like cameras and phones and this kind of thing, so he's glad with that.
Yeah. So where... Obviously, like I said earlier, about he's very much a philosopher, and he puts that spin of wisdom into it. Where does he get that from?
Essa forma de falar muito, de filosofar, você pegou isso da onde?
Ah, da vida.
From life.
Filosofar é foda. Eu gosto eu gosto de escrever, né? Eu gosto de... como é que eu vou falar pra você? Inclusive, eu tenho acho que eu tenho esse dom comigo.
I like to write.
Vamos dar um exemplo. Eu escrevo sobre qualquer coisa. E escrevo, assim, de uma forma que muita gente não vai imaginar que sou eu que estou escrevendo. Depois que passa limpo aquilo que eu escrevi, e fala, cara, quem escreveu isso aqui?
So sometimes I write things that people wouldn't believe that was coming from me.
As pessoas acham que não imaginam que tá saindo de mim. E essa história de eu ter apagado num campeonato foi muito engraçado.
And what happened this tournament was really funny.
Eu tava cheio de problema, minha cabeça tava muito ruim, sabe?
I had so many problems back in the days. My head wasn't in the right place.
E eu fui competir. Problema com mulher.
And I went to compete, and obviously, problem with women, right?
Yep.
E eu só lembro que eu tava até numa posição boa na luta, sabe?
And I remember I was in a good position during the fight.
Aí depois eu só lembro de eu ir acordando meio lento, assim, sabe?
And I just remember waking up.
E o estádio todinho me olhando.
And everyone's looking at me.
Is that the only time he's ever gone out, is it?
E o pessoal perguntando se eu tava bem.
Everyone was asking if I was alright. Essa foi a única vez que você apagou?
Não, já paguei no treino, acho que umas 2 vezes.
Couple of times during sparring in the gym as well.
Mas é uma sensação gostosa.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah. I've never had it.
Nos campeonatos, eu acho que hoje em dia, eu acho que eu sairia bem. Eu acho que eu não me importaria se eu apagasse num campeonato hoje.
If that happened these days, like, I wouldn't mind. It's something that can happen to anyone.
Uma coisa legal que eu achei aqui na Inglaterra, vocês não se preocupam muito com a vida dos outros, se a pessoa tá vestida de um jeito, se ela tá falando de um jeito, se ela tá dançando na academia, se ela tá...
And that's one of the things I like about England. Like, people doesn't really care about people's life, right? People won't care the way you're dressing, or if you're going to the gym, start dancing, or if you're going to the bank and you see someone full of tattoos from head to toe. People doesn't really care about those things. Different in Brazil. People judge people a lot by the look.
See, I think that's probably a misconception with England, and that I think people are heavily judged. It's probably to what you were saying earlier with the English politeness. it's like we've got good poker faces. Do you know what I mean? Like if we see someone, if I see someone walking down the street and they're all, you know, tats up to the gills and that, I'm probably not going to let my lad go and stay around their house.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean? That's just, you know.
No, but I think that's I think anyone would act
Yeah.
like that. I think what he's trying to say is judging someone before you kind of know.
'em, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of a situation like that, I agree. But sometimes, I think as a human being, we quite poor with that, right? We judge people sometimes for no.
Traduz aí, Rafa.
Não, eu só tô falando que a gente julga muito, né? Às vezes sem.
Eu acho que o brasileiro até costuma falar que lá no Brasil cada um tem uma vida, né?
It's like we say in Brazil, everyone has one life, right?
Você tem sua vida, eu tenho a minha.
I have mine, you have yours.
Só que lá o pessoal quer cuidar da vida dos outros.
So back home, like everyone wants to look after everyone's life, like gossiping and kind of thing that he wants to
O brasileiro tem esse costume.
say. Yeah, is a habit from Brazilians.
E uma coisa muito triste no Brasil, que no Brasil eles não têm, no Brasil não tem um prêmio Nobel. Não tem um prêmio Nobel no Brasil, tipo, qualquer premiação Nobel assim, não existe no Brasil. Porque o Brasil tem mania de matar os seus heróis. Isso é muito triste no Brasil, entende? Você pode ganhar 10 competições. Se você perder uma, acabou, o pessoal quer te matar. Fala que você não pode, que você já era, mais ou menos assim. Isso acontece até com os lutadores de MMA, sabe? As pessoas julgam muito e como é que se diz? Julgam, e as pessoas que, a grande maioria que julga, né, nunca fez nada, nunca construiu nada. Nem luta, nem sabe do que tá falando.
Yeah, so I think one of the worst things from, like, especially I'm from Brazil, so I'm going to talk about my nation. Sometimes people judge too much. For example, let's talk about a very famous UFC fighter or a famous football player. Sometimes the person does so great for so many years, and sometimes once when they fail, people forget about all the goodness and just focus on, that's very unfair. That's a kind of, it's not a nice thing.
No Brasil, eles focam muito nos seus defeitos, não nas qualidades.
Yeah, there some people trying to stay focused more with the mistakes than with the qualities. You know what I mean?
E eu falo assim, todo mundo que se envolve com jiu-jitsu, não tem ninguém normal que no meio do jiu-jitsu. Acho que todo mundo é crazy, todo mundo é louco no jiu-jitsu.
And those people who end up embracing jiu-jitsu, I think everyone has like a little problem, like a little crazy or something like that. But it's true, yeah.
Mas eu acho que a gente tem que viver mais ou menos assim. Senão a gente adoece e deprime.
Yeah, I think that's the way you should live life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it's crazy. I think for a lot of people, especially in this day and age, a lot of people live very sedative lives. And I think putting yourself in the situation like jiu-jitsu, you know, Thai boxing, like any of the martial arts or any physical endeavour really is that pursuit of putting yourself in discomfort. Because then it's the same with, like, if you put yourself in discomfort, you can appreciate comfort, and it's the same with, like, you don't appreciate the sun until it rains.
Yeah.
And I think it's that side of what you want from life and how you want to be able to deal with situations and understanding people and just becoming. For me, it's just about getting better each day.
Yeah.
If I can get 0.1% better than I was yesterday, that's the only person I'm competing with. Like you said earlier, we've all got one life. We're all going through this life. We're on this roller coaster, ups and downs, you know, ins and outs, whatever it is. And that is, for me, putting yourself, like I said, into that discomfort. It just makes them, you know, them comfortable times just so much better. I think I've become a better dad with it. And you know, and obviously I get to see Caitlin a lot more with us going so often.
I think the same. I think like after a few years in jiu-jitsu, you start dealing with problems completely differently. Like I'm much more chill these days. Like even sometimes when I go through tough problems, like I kind of like sit down. It's like, you know what? If I sort out this today, that's fine. If not, that's fine as well. And I think I have learned a lot. I would say most of it from jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Eu vou falar de um sonho que eu tenho.
I'm just going to talk about another dream that I have.
100%.
Eu sempre tive esse sonho de lutar com música.
I always dreamed fighting and listening to the music at the same time.
Right.
De que forma que eu penso isso? Porque assim, às vezes quando você vai competir ou lutar, ou quando você vai realizar um sonho, seja você fazer uma prova, eu acho que quando você vai para uma batalha de qualquer aspecto que seja.
Sometimes when you're going to fight, or if you're going like to doing like an important exam, or if you're going to a battle or whatever,
tem muito sempre vai ter muito os bastidores, vai ter muita gente ali, a plateia, né? Você vai ter muita gente, às vezes a família, né? Family, às vezes amigos, às vezes conhecido, às vezes pessoas que você nem conhece vão estar ali, né? De alguma forma ou outra, observando ou olhando. E quando eu boto o fone, eu desconecto de tudo ali. Por isso que antes de lutar sempre tô com fone, que eu tô na mesma sintonia ali do que eu tenho que fazer. E a minha vontade é que aquilo não desligasse. Quando eu tiro o fone, meio que desliga um pouco.
yeah. So sometimes when you fight and you're going for a competition, you see all this crowd looking at you, talking about you, and that's the time when I talk about music. When I'm listening to my music, like I kind of block everything and everyone from that moment. But sometimes when I remove my headphones and step on the mat, it's kind of bringing everything back. That's why I always dream fighting and listening to music at the same time.
Você, por exemplo, o nome dele é
Jack.
Jack vai fazer o podcast. Quantas pessoas deram opinião? Tenho certeza que você teve diversas opiniões de pessoas. Não faz assim, faz assado. Diversas pessoas falando. Mas quem teve que realizar foi o Jack.
Yeah, so it's the same thing when you decide to open your podcast, right? I'm sure you had so many people like saying things. It's just another one, don't do it, kind of things. And but you were the only one that had to make the decision, and
quite close friends. Like when it first came out, a few people found out in the football team. Well, like I told a couple of lads that I was close with, and then that was it. It got thrown in the changing room, and I had no end of it. Oh, why are you doing that? Why are you doing? Oh, that sounds shit. That sounds boring. And I'm like, I'm not asking you to do it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know that I'm doing it.
Não tô perguntando se você vai fazer, eu vou fazer. Eu só tô comentando.
Yes. Aí por isso que eu falo do fone, né, da música, porque eu tenho certeza que tanto você, o Jack, quanto o Júnior, eu acho que já na memória de vocês já deve ter visto algum filme de luta que é uma grade, né? Tá rolando acho que teve até em Brasília um evento assim, rolando uma festa acontecendo, o som pipocando e rolando as lutas. Luta com juiz, com árbitro, uma luta, né? As lutas legais. E esse é um sonho que eu tenho de lutar num evento assim. A música não parar. Pipocando ali.
Yeah, there is some events, like I think like few movies have showed that before. For example, a nightclub, right? White people enjoying, you have like a kind of arena there. Yeah, with a normal fight, referees and everything, and the music like blasting and...
Eu até tentei em um evento, coisa de doido, dessa pedir pra eu contar uma coisa bem inusitada, né?
Yeah, there is an event that I try to go.
Contei isso pra poucas pessoas sabem disso. Eu fui lutar um evento de luta casada, era o Duelo de Titãs, lá em Brasília. E eu queria entrar com fone de ouvido.
Yeah, I really tried. There was this tournament in Brasilia, and I tried to walk in with my headphones, you know, the little ones.
Yeah.
Aí eu coloquei um protetor de orelha, né?
I tried to put something to protect my ears, just to say there was, you know, not to give him cauliflower and kind of thing.
Yeah.
Aí na hora de eu entrar, não aceitaram eu entrar com o protetor de orelha.
And they didn't accept at the end, like, the things covering my ears.
Eu fiquei muito triste.
I was quite annoyed with that.
Eu queria muito lutar com som, sabe? Pra mim, me dá a impressão de quando eu tiro o fone pra entrar pra lutar, desconecta um pouco.
I get the feeling sometimes when I remove my headphones, something disconnects from me. To
Quando,
fight.
Does he think that it's something to do with like an anxiety at all?
Você acha que é alguma coisa com ansiedade?
Não, eu acho que me dá uma energia. Eu consigo meio que sentir a melodia e lutar. Aquilo me motiva, me incentiva, me...
No, he doesn't think so. He thinks it's just motivates him more.
Right.
The music.
There's just okay.
Yeah.
A luta é uma dança.
Yeah.
É uma expressão de
He looks
corpo.
at it as a dance.
Então, quando... Imagina, vamos dar um exemplo. Você ir pra uma festa que não tem música.
It's like if you're going to a party without music.
Yeah.
Se a conversa for boa,
If the chat was great,
beleza. Mas se a conversa
alright.
não for
But
boa,
if the chat wasn't great,
não é bom você aumentar a música no último
sometimes good to turn the volume up and just
e mandar todo mundo foco
and tell everyone to fuck off.
e tu curtir a festa?
And you enjoy the party.
Yeah.
É mais ou menos o que eu acho que me dá.
I
que eu
think
sinto.
that's something that's giving me like.
Então a música no 12, como a gente fala no Brasil, e você lá, ó, o pau quebrando, lutando.
Does he get out dancing a lot?
When he goes out,
Like when he's back in Brazil, does he go out dancing a bit? Does he?
yeah, he doesn't go out much, but when he's out, he dances. Yeah, he likes. Perguntando se você, quando você sai lá, você dança. Eu falei, não sai muito não, mas quando sai, dança.
Dá uma rebolada.
Yeah, he likes it.
So what
Lambada, fala pra ele, você já escutou, já ouviu falar na lambada?
Have you heard about lambada?
Não? Tinha que trazer a lambada pra cá.
Lambada is a
pra
style,
Inglaterra,
is a style of music in
dançando
Brazil.
lambada, dançando. Imagina os ingleses dançando.
English people doesn't have much of this connection. This
Dançando lambada.
I've got
Yeah.
some hips. I got some hips.
Ia parar a Inglaterra. Ou ia virar o presidente da Inglaterra ou ia ser preso. Fala pra ele.
he say if he could bring lambada to England, two things could happen. He could be like the prime minister or goes to jail. One or other.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up after this. So what from a diet point of view, does he eat to a diet at all, or
Diet?
yeah?
Well, he competes quite a lot, so sometimes he needs to track everything
Yeah.
what he eats, because sometimes he needs to lose weight, and so he can't go crazy.
Is there anything specific that he eats?
Alguma coisa que você come todo dia que você gosta de manter?
Eu acho que eu peco muito na dieta. Eu gosto muito de doce.
He likes sweet a lot, so I think that's one of the bad sides about him.
Yeah.
Nossa, eu gosto muito de doce. Mas assim, eu sei que se a gente alimentar melhor, a gente vai treinar melhor.
But for sure, if you eat better, you're gonna train better.
Yeah,
eu
definitely.
acho que eu ainda tô com... Eu vou fazer 47 anos. Eu acho que ainda tô... Que muita gente fala que eu não pareço ter 47 anos. Acho que com certeza isso é muito pelo jiu-jitsu. Né? Porque, querendo ou não, pra lutar eu tenho que fazer dieta, eu tenho que, né, pra bater peso, comer melhor. Então, aí sempre eu tô lutando, sempre eu tô 2 vezes no mês, uma vez no mês eu tô lutando, então acaba que me força ao me policiar, ao me alimentar melhor.
Yeah, so yeah, he needs to police himself like quite a lot because of he needs to keep the weight, and he's gonna be 47 this year.
Looks
And many
very
people always say that he looks younger, but I think he thinks this is because of jiu-jitsu as well.
Older.
O que ele falou?
Falou que você parece ser mais velho, sacanagem.
falando sobre essa questão de música, sobre essa questão, falando de luta e falando da minha experiência eu tenho que falar da Escócia e falar da Inglaterra. Voltando ao filme Coração Valente, William Wallace. Eu vou lá conhecer.
Why is he saying William Wallace?
Yeah, he's talking about like music and this and that, but his one of his dreams is to go to Scotland to see the museums kind of things.
Tem uma fala
Nice.
que ele fala antes da batalha. Ele precisava convencer, acho que eram os escoceses, a lutar. E os escoceses estavam morrendo de medo. Não vou morrer. Não quero ir.
There is a saying that in the movie that this guy William Wallace he trying to encourage everyone. I think everyone was scared or something like that.
Tava todo mundo falando, não vou. Ele tinha juntado um exército. E todo mundo, não vou. Aí ele falou umas coisas que não saíram da minha cabeça, né? Eu acho que, assim, isso em relação a lutar, né? Por exemplo, ele falou assim, imagine você daqui a alguns anos.
It's like William Wallace will say, can you imagine yourself in 10 years time?
Imagine você falar, não vou treinar, não vou lutar, vou machucar.
You're saying that I'm not gonna train, I'm not gonna fight, I'm not gonna get hurt.
Aí eu vou falar pra você.
And then I'm gonna say to you,
Imagine você daqui a alguns anos deitado numa cama, com certeza você vai imaginar e vai pensar e vai implorar e vai pedir.
yeah, so, and then he's gonna tell you, like, can you imagine yourself in 10 years time on a bed, like, sick, begging that if you could go back to
Yeah.
Por aquele momento que você perdeu
for that moment that you missed,
de lutar pela nossa liberdade.
to fight for the freedom.
E sabe o que ele fez, William Wallace?
And you know what he done?
Se fizesse isso aqui, você é cancelado. Ele virou pros oponentes lá, pro outro exército, né? Que o pessoal tava falando assim, tipo, menosprezando eles. Recolha seu exército e vai embora. Vocês são uns...
And the enemies was asking William Wallace to... Did you watch the film?
Yeah, I've seen the film. Yeah.
Ele viu.
Pois é, aí ele falou isso, motivou todo mundo a lutar. Aí ele virou... Aí ele virou lá pros... Acho que não sei se foi pros ingleses ou foi pros escoceses, eu não lembro muito bem, né? Nada contra nenhum ou outro, né? Eu falo do objetivo da batalha que era pela liberdade. Ele virou e abaixou e mostrou a bunda pros...
Yeah, and there was a time that he turned around to, I think it was to the enemies, and he showed his ass,
Yeah, so
right?
it's us, yeah.
Eu acho que aquele gesto ali dele mostrar a bunda pra dizer assim, fuck you, foda-se, eu vou lutar.
Yeah.
It was just a way to say, like, I don't care, like, I'm gonna fight.
Eu só tenho uma vida.
I got only one life.
Se eu não lutar,
Yeah. I think the sayings, they'll take our land, but they'll never take our freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. So it's
I
quite.
I think I never watched this film.
It's wild for me that he obviously lives in Brazil and he's referencing Braveheart like, as a film. How many does he watch it often? Is it a staple in Brazil?
eu tenho até um... Vou contar pra vocês. Eu vou te mandar essa foto. Eu tenho uma foto que eu tô vestido igual um inglês. Com...
I have a picture I'm gonna
Com a
send
saia,
you. Like,
com
I'm dressing up as a Scottish, with this skirt. And,
With his kilt.
Tu vai chorar de rir. Eu tô com cabelo grande até aqui. Mas
you're gonna laugh. I used to have long hairs. And,
Nice.
E pintado. Eu tô pintado pra batalha.
and with the face painted.
Você vai chorar de rir se você ver essa foto. Fala pra ele.
You're gonna laugh a lot if you see this picture.
Yeah, 100%.
Então, assim, pra você ver, né? Aí a luta, o jiu-jitsu me trouxe aqui num lugar que eu nunca imaginaria vir.
So Jiu-Jitsu brought us here, right?
100%.
Eu fico muito feliz de estar aqui.
I'm very happy to be here.
Mas eu amo o Brasil.
I love Brazil.
Tô morrendo de saudade de casa.
I miss home a lot.
Tô sentindo o cheiro do Brasil.
Can smell Brazil.
Quando o sol sai aqui, eu falo, oh, meu Deus, Brasil.
Yeah, 100%. Is there anything more he wants to say?
Mais
While we're
alguma
on?
coisa que você queria falar?
Eu queria falar pra você que contar sua história todos os dias aqui no seu podcast. Não sei se essa é a sua intenção. sua história e da sua filha no jiu-jitsu. Eu acho que seria algo muito de grande valia pra todas as pessoas. Tocando foda-se o fuck you. Fala pra ele.
I think it's really important for you to talk about your experience in jiu-jitsu, Kathleen, and everything. I think you'll be able to help lots of people.
Os mínimos detalhes contando
All the details and everything, what happened and stuff.
Sabe, independente do que as pessoas iriam achar ou imaginar, contando a história. Eu acho que isso é que faz grande.
Yeah, no matter what people gonna think.
Tem até uma história que um amigo meu tinha me contado. É de um neto e um avô. E o avô, assim, o avô é encantador, bem velhinho, e eles abriram um canal e mostra ele conversando com o avô. Cara, e esse canal é maior sucesso no Brasil. No Brasil não, no mundo. Tem milhões de seguidores e de visualização. Depois eu vou ver até e vou te falar. Então mostra a história do avô com o neto. Uma coisa simples.
Is a couple in Brazil, grandson and granddad. He create this, not a podcast, but it's a kind of like the guy talks about his granddad all the time.
Right.
I think we see this here as well in England, right?
Like
And they
a
became
vlog
famous
thing,
all over the world. Those kind of TikToks and Instagrams kind of things.
Porque eu acho que, assim, a minha opinião hoje, sobre muita coisa, né? Eu acho que a gente se perde quando a gente começa a preocupar demais com a opinião das pessoas. Acho que quando a gente age com simplicidade e sendo a gente mesmo, independente de se vai agradar as pessoas ou não, acho que a gente sendo a gente mesmo, a gente não se perde de nós mesmos, né?
I think we shouldn't care about what people think about us, or think, yeah. We should care more about what we think, what we want to do.
Eu hoje estou participando do maior podcast do mundo, na minha opinião.
Today I'm participating of the biggest podcast in the world.
It will be one day.
Porque eu estou falando da minha história.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking about my life.
Da história do Luciano. Da história do Jack. Então, é assim. Se eu esperar que é isso, que é aquilo, eu nunca vou viver a minha verdade.
That's how I believe that needs to be. You know what I mean? What I think, what I want to do, not what the other ones.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, we've all got our own lives, and it's what you want. What makes you happy is what makes you happy.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It doesn't matter if it doesn't make someone else happy, or someone else is saying to you, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. Well, I'm not you. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to be you, I'd follow you. I'd do the stuff you do. I'd just go to a normal job that I don't really like, and then, and go home, sit in front of a TV, do whatever. Well, I don't want that for my life. Mm-hmm. I've got many friends that are like that. I've got friends that drink all the time, drink on a weekend, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I don't drink. So I just don't, for the sake of going out and having a night out, it cost me 2-3 days in the gym.
Yeah.
Working out or jiu-jitsu. Like it's just 34 now. Like I'm not a spring chicken.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not worth it. It's the pros and cons weighing them up. For me, I'd rather just stay in shape, stay cognitive and things. So, like for the wedding tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm designated driver already. The lads that I'm going down with from the military, I'm, with two of us are at the same hotel. So I was like, I'll pick you up. I'll take you in. And it's like that sort of thing. And it, like, because of how wild I was when I used to drink, especially in my sort of, early 20s, I was animal. Drinking every Friday, Saturday, still training and stuff like that. I was in quite a good shape then as well, to be fair. But yeah, and it just hits different now. And then, when I say to people, I don't drink now, they're like, oh, what happened? Like, as if it had to be, I went off the rails and I was becoming an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And
When it's
I'm
supposed to be the opposite, right?
I was just like, I just don't want to do this anymore because I want to concentrate on this.
Yeah.
But it is, anything, whatever makes you, like I said, whatever makes you happy is what makes you happy.
Ele falou que é essa questão, né? Você tem que fazer o que te deixa feliz. O que te deixa feliz é o que te deixa feliz. Ponto final.
Ponto final. Você falou sobre essa questão de filosofar. Por que você falou que ele falou? Né? Essa é a palavra que ele usou? Mas perguntou por quê. Se ele achou isso legal, se ele achou isso... O que ele achou disso?
No, ele gostou. No, he's asking what you thought about the way he talks and kind of thing. Because you say like the philosophy, the way he talks and kind of things.
Yeah, no. So it's just when he's showing us the moves and stuff like that. He then expresses about how jiu-jitsu in this aspect we can then take that into our life, so we can use it, and it's using it for good and using it that it's. And like I was saying earlier about the discomfort and being in them positions and and that sort of stuff just sets you up better for the outside world. Because and it's just like I said about what makes you happy is it's also the worst thing that's happened to you is the worst thing that's happened to you, whether it's this you've lost your phone or whether you've been whatever, it abused, whatever. But and that's why I want to put Caitlin into that in a controlled environment, because then when it happens in real life, she can deal with it. She'll understand that, right, I'm going to have these emotions, I'm going to have these feelings. And obviously, I think going to competitions is the closest you can get to that.
Yeah,
because
true.
the what's the word I'm looking for?
Because you get used to it, and when you spar in the gym every day, so that is going to push you even more. Yeah.
If you tap in the 5 minutes, that's it. You just tap, boom, boom, you go again. Whereas your consequences of your actions at a competition that's the end of your competition.
Yeah.
So you like I had mine obviously in December, heightened emotions, everything. You just you're just raring to go, and obviously
you're not only fighting against your opponent, right? Competition,
No.
you fight against so many things.
Yeah, and I think you're fighting against yourself as well, and that whole going for that, jumping on it, and all the rest of it, rather than just relaxing, taking your time and thinking it through.
Yeah, it's a long process. Não, ele falou pela forma mesmo de você ensinar, às vezes quando você tá ensinando passo a passo, entendeu? Aí você dá uma refletida, né? Tipo, né? Lá fora também, aí volta pro jiu-jitsu, essas coisas.
Boa. Eu falar aqui pra você, eu até escrevi uma autobiografia, um livro, né? Eu não publiquei, mas eu registrei, tá? Escrevi o livro, que é o livro Porquê, o livro Maktub, o livro do Leu.
I did write a book a few years ago. I never published, but I made this book, and on the main page we put why Maktub. I never read the book.
Uma autobiografia.
Just talking about him and stuff.
Why didn't he publish it?
Por que você não publicou?
Muito pesado o livro.
I think the book ended up quite heavy.
Thin it out.
Como assim? Alguma coisa da sua vida?
Muito profundo.
Quite deep.
Do it in 2 parts.
Acho que muita gente não tá preparado.
I think many people wasn't ready to read.
Acho que o Brasil não tá preparado.
Yeah.
Acho que a Inglaterra estaria.
Maybe England was a place like to publish.
Eu acho que o Brasil não tá preparado.
Not Brazil.
Porque é uma coisa muito interessante, né? Eu lendo sobre as pessoas que escrevem autobiografia, diz que é uma coisa muito louca. Diz que a pessoa começa meio que enlouquecer escrevendo.
Sometimes when people start writing about their own life, some people ended up getting a little bit crazy.
Eu até faço um desafio para você. Comece a escrever um pouquinho sobre a sua história. É um negócio muito louco mesmo.
It's a big challenge. Like I would say to yourself, start writing something about your life, your story, and something that
Você começa a ficar paralelo. Você não sabe se você tá lá dentro, ou tá fora do...
Sometimes you don't know anymore if you're inside or outside of the...
É muito profundo. As biografias que realmente são profundas e de verdades, que não são montadas, é um negócio muito doido. Você lê uma autobiografia de alguém contar a história dela na profundidade, é algo muito profundo.
To read someone's life can be something quite deep. The real stories, not the fake ones, not the ones that has been built.
Inclusive, esse livro tinha sido traduzido para inglês.
And I did translate this book to English.
Eu acho que até que se perdeu a tradução, sabe?
I need to find out what it is.
Well, I hope to read it someday.
Eu registrei, mas não publiquei.
Didn't publish it at the end.
Well, then I can get a signed copy.
Se você encontrar dia, manda para ele.
Assim, ele pode enlouquecer, fala pra ele.
You could get crazy by reading.
Right, so I'm going to bring this to an end now. But before we go, I ask every guest this. I want Leo's life advice. What advice has he got for someone that is either looking to get into jiu-jitsu or just general life advice?
Alguma mensagem de vida? Geralmente ele pergunta isso para todo mundo no final.
Uma mensagem de vida relacionada ao jiu-jitsu? Viva o jiu-jitsu, viva a vida. De uma forma que você não se arrependa de não fazer nada, que eu acho que a pior coisa é a gente se arrepender de não fazer algo, principalmente quando é de coração. Não o mal, mas como você correr na chuva, soltar um pum com seu filho, falar uma besteira, pegar seu amigo numa situação complicada, viver isso, ser feliz vivendo, que às vezes a gente deprime. Então, se eu pudesse mandar uma mensagem, cara, viva, toque o foco pro mundo e viva.
It's like live your life. Don't think too much. It's better to doing something and end up regretting than regret something that you never did.
Não faça mal pra ninguém, mas viva, por favor, viva.
Yeah, always doing the good and live your life.
Todo mundo vai morrer,
Everyone's gonna die at the end.
mas nem todo mundo vive.
It's not everyone who lives.
Yeah, I agree. Right, do you want to give the people your social medias?
Yeah, so eu falo, né, o seu Instagram, que o pessoal vai
Instagram, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
so Leu Maktub is his Instagram, okay? My one is we have two pages. We have ACTJJ UK. This is a main page, and LA Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is LA stands for Luciano Araújo, after my dad. So those three actually. That's a page. But I think as you know, it's in Portuguese, so we're gonna put somewhere there.
Yeah.
E Jiu-Jitsu Maktub também, Instagram.
Falei já.
Cool. Happy?
Us.
Queria agradecer,
Thank you
né,
very much.
pelo convite.
Thank you very much for the invite.
No,
Tem
100%.
essa resenha aqui, né, que é uma resenha, né?
Yeah, to have this great conversation here.
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
E
Well,
acho
thank
que
you very much for coming on.
Acho que foi bem legal. Yes. Valeu, Rafinha.
Us.
Good.
Right, we'll see you again, everyone.
The greatest.